Hey, the world is so crazy right now, it's insane. I keep catching myself saying over and over again to people how crazy the world is. If you guys have been following my live videos here on Patreon, you would have noticed I've been paying a lot of attention towards not only the global events, the eschatological end time signs, like right now, I'm going to post some more stuff on Patreon, but Italy's flooding like crazy. And these energies are so intense, so at a lot of times I have to take time to like process a lot of stuff. It's very important. And I don't want to sound like a madman who's constantly going on about this energy, because the truth is that everyone feels it. Like you feel it, I feel it, everyone feels it. We've got one viewer here, and I want to know if that one viewer can confirm some stuff I'm going to ask. But I keep asking people, I say, do you feel some sort of feeling as though something's going to happen here on Earth? Do you feel an intense feeling, someone hooting at the bird, of what's happening right now? Because I look around and I notice how people emotionally react, and it's very easy to see that like everyone is on edge. And then if you ask enough people, that everyone's feeling a certain level of intensity. Jesus Christ. Sorry, give me 1 second. So I gotta take time to like sit and think about what it is I'm actually gonna speak about every single time. For fuck's sakes. It's quite hard to actually do videos and stuff here because there's always so much activity in this place. So yeah, I got this huge feeling something's gonna happen, and I'm pretty sure people feel it too, and everyone feels so super duper on edge because of it, to be totally honest with you. I think everyone is feeling it. It's quite clearly obvious. And I find it interesting to see a contrast between some of these supernatural disasters that are continuing to take place and the energies it is that we all happen to be feeling. Now, this energy happens to be making some people feel like they're losing their mind. Because it's intense, dude. It brings everything to the surface. And I don't know, it's like, it's so hard to speak about something that has never really been spoken about, to try to contextualize it. But everyone can feel this intense feeling. You can feel it, I can feel it. As I said before, people are either just more aware of it or less aware of it. But it's growing in its intensity, because what I've noticed is that over the last couple of months, it's this energy and this feeling has just gotten so much more intense. And I ask people to see if they sort of like feel the same thing, so that I don't feel as though I'm the only one experiencing it. You know, it's important to be able to see who else may be feeling this. And almost everyone I happen to speak to, mostly for the most part, happens to agree in saying that they feel pretty intense things. It feels like something's coming, something on the way. And they couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, they couldn't be closer to the truth. Anyway, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, I'm just going to be honest. I don't have the mental energy to freaking go so deep into this right now, but I'm just going to say it as basic as I possibly can. But shit is going down here on Earth. It's going down. And I'm telling you now, this intense feeling you may be feeling, but you either know how to manage better or worse, is only going to get more intense. It's going to get crazy. And it's enough for an unbalanced, undisciplined person, this very intense subconscious energy that we all happen to be feeling, it's enough to make anyone freaking go crazy and act erratic and impulsive and do some crazy shit. So it's important to look after your mind and energy in this time and make sure that as the world gets crazier, which it will, if you think it's gotten as crazy as you think it can get, unfortunately, you've seen nothing yet. Because it's gonna get fucking insane. And I've been spending all this time trying to master the fear, I suppose, because it just feels so huge. So that by the time this stuff actually starts going down, I'm mentally prepared as much as possible. You know, we have to be able to develop a certain level of emotional invincibility in these times, because that's what it's going to take and that's what it's going to require in order for us to be able to be so calm and focused as much as possible as shit gets crazier. Shit is going to keep getting crazier. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to get crazier. As if it isn't already fucking crazy. It's already fucking crazy. It's so crazy. I don't even need to tell you the world is crazy for you to know that the world is crazy. It's insane. And now this energy we all happen to be feeling is making some people go fucking nuts. They're either going to go to war, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that. People are fucking... It's bringing out the worst and the best in people. And that's what usually like super intense times and energies do. It either brings out the best in someone, or it either brings out the worst in someone. And so you're going to get people who are using this as a supreme opportunity to connect to God and the spiritual nature of reality. Because this reality is very spiritual. You just don't know it. It's extremely, extremely spiritual. And we're going to find out how spiritual it is and how real it can get. And so some people will use that as an opportunity to come into contact with God and their purpose, and that Holy Spirit that is going to work with you, purify you, evolve you, and get you ready for the crazy shit that's going to go down. And then the other side of people, well, they don't have any beliefs, they don't have any reason to have faith. They're going to go fucking crazy. If they don't have strong values, morals, and principles rooted in God, they're going to go fucking crazy. I promise you now. They're going to lose their fucking mind. Because everyone's feeling this subconscious intensity, and it's increasing over the last 6 months, over the last year, over the last 2 years. And something is on the way. Now, I have an idea of what will happen because of certain visions and dreams I've had. I've seen that, you know, I got shown a dream once where I was getting shown a map of Earth. And I couldn't believe this map I was looking at because it was unfucking recognizable. You couldn't recognize that it was Earth's map. That's how much the map changed because of water and land being revealed and then flooded. So if you look at the normal map today, you can see, you know, Africa, North America, South America, Europe, and the Eurasian countries and Australia and whatever. In this map I was seeing, it was unrecognizable, guys. It was the Earth's map was unrecognizable. So, you know, when I had that dream, I thought, interesting. I didn't take it as seriously then as I take it now, because of everything that's happened. So I anticipated flooding. You know, I asked certain people, certain smart people, if they felt that would happen. They disagreed. But that dream was so clear that I couldn't ignore it. And now after seeing all these places flood like crazy, like Italy, it's going to get worse, guys. I predicted it in the beginning of the year. I said this year, these supernatural disasters are going to get crazier. And next year, they're going to get even crazier. But this year, something's on the way. And I believe whatever the fuck is on the way is going to ensure that we enter the next year with a fucking bang. A bang. I may be a little bit wrong in timing, but whatever this is, it is fast approaching. I don't know exactly I've got an idea of what will happen. I don't know exactly what will happen. And I don't know exactly when, but I've got a feeling, very intense feeling, that something is fast approaching. Something fucking huge. Something massive. Something huge. Huge. It will change life. It will change life on earth forever. Like you can't believe. It will change life on earth forever. Like you cannot believe. Sorry, give me a second. Just getting a lighter. So I believe whatever it is I'm feeling and people are feeling is fast approaching. And it's huge. It's so huge that sometimes I get up and I almost have like a weird nightmare about it. A nightmare I used to have at a very young age. That's reoccurring now. You know, I've analyzed and observed my dreams and tried to tell the subconscious dreams apart from the, I suppose, prophetic dreams or visions. And they haven't been wrong. And so I really doubted what it is I'm saying now. Earth's map changing, crazy amounts of flooding, all of that. Sometimes I doubt it. But after I keep feeling what I'm feeling, seeing what I'm seeing, hearing what I'm hearing, every day it becomes more and more and more of a reality. Okay? It becomes more and more of a reality. It seems far more realistic every single day that passes. I don't like to think that it's real or gonna happen, I kinda do want it to happen, but on the other end, I also am worried about it happening because in order to accommodate what I'd seen, a lot of people are gonna die. A lot of people are gonna die. A lot of people are gonna die. A lot. A lot. If you think you've seen, you don't understand, guys. A lot of people are gonna die. A lot. A lot. It's easy to talk about now, but once that reality sets in, it's intense. Because I'm anticipating and predicting that a lot of people are gonna die. I don't like to think that. Sometimes I fucking hate humans. I can't wait for this shit to happen. But on the other end, it's like I still have compassion, and empathy. And it's still like quite a hectic thing for your mind to deal with, this idea that a lot of people are gonna perish. So I'm every day fucking interpreting this information and calculating these variables and getting stuff revealed to me more and more. And it's a lot to take in, I'm not gonna lie, because what I'm being shown is intense. It's not like some fucking kumbaya, super chilled shit. No. Like, shit is gonna get real. And I think I've been struggling to anticipate the time exactly as to when this will happen. But every day it's just closer and closer and closer. And signs of what's going to happen keep occurring. Like with these floods and stuff that are taking place and whatever. Electromagnetic storms, and then what I've been observing, this energy over 10 years. It's very evident that something fucking huge is going to happen. And so I believe a picture is being painted in my mind of the reality that will become our reality, like everyone on Earth's reality. And it's so hectic that AI is like the least of our worries. Seriously. AI and fucking Terminator robots and a Mark of the Beast fucking digital chip or whatever is like the least of your worries. Because what's going to happen is it won't be man-made. It will not be a man-made event at all. It will be a series of events, but there will be like big events within those series of events, like a build-up of events, and then hectic, chaotic, instant fucking chaos. And when that chaos hits, you're gonna, just like you do now, just like you feel that intense energy that everyone's feeling. Because as I explained in my last video, if the whole Earth's stressed out, you're going to pick up that subconscious feeling of stress. Okay? Through the energies in the air, whatever. So I'm telling you now, when shit hits, and you can feel already now how intense it feels, right? It feels pretty intense. Like people are managing this extra stress and intensity in their own way. So be mindful to know that everyone's going through this and feeling it, maybe not expressing it, talking about it, observing it, or paying attention, or being aware of it. But I promise you now, everyone's feeling it. And you can ask them, and if you ask them, you'll find out they are feeling it. Okay? And it's getting more intense. Sometimes there's little breaks, things feel a little bit calmer, chilled, but the intensity is still there, it's just less. And then sometimes it goes through the fucking roof. Like now. So think about what I'm saying. When the world goes into chaos, which it will go into chaos. You are gonna have to learn how to stay fucking calm. You're gonna have to learn how to stay calm. Because if you think it feels intense now, wait until there's fucking pandemonium and chaos everywhere. It will feel far more intense. I promise you now. And the gravity of what's going to happen is so huge that when I say life on Earth will be changed forever, I'm not joking. Life on Earth has been very repetitive for fucking millennia. Same sort of story, same sort of spiel. But what's going to happen here, guys, is like something that's never happened before. And it will change everything drastically. So there's some quotes in the Bible that I'm concerned about, like book of Isaiah. It says that man will become scarcer and more rare than gold, or the golden wedge of Ophir, meaning it will be easier to find gold than it will be to find a living human being. That's what it says in the book. And based on what I've been feeling and interpreting, some things in the Bible I don't understand. I'm not going to lie to you. They don't make sense to me. But some things really make sense to me in the Bible, though. Like, and what's going to happen here on Earth is so fucking huge, guys, that there will be no matrix. There will be no fucking governments. There will be no government. I promise you now. After a certain point, governments will collapse. And it may be like overnight. Like this. And people are gonna freak the fuck out. Guys, people are gonna freak out. Hardcore. If you think people have freaked out already and shit's got intense already, and I'm not trying to scare you, I'm trying to prepare you, please. I just want you to know that. I'm not trying to scare you. Definitely not trying to scare you. I'm trying to prepare your mind mentally for what is going to happen and what you can feel is happening. Just pay attention. So I'm trying to prepare you, not scare you. And it's something that you can't really prepare for. And what you're going to have to rely on more than anything is faith in God. You're going to have to rely. It will be the only thing you will have to rely on. You will have nothing else to rely on. And so people that don't have that foundation of faith within them are going to fuck out. They're going to freak out. Louis Sky, 84. What are you talking about? Sorry, I've only just tuned in. I'm speaking about a feeling that everyone's got now of a certain level of intensity and feeling as though something's going to happen. Don't know when, but like, it's like a build-up feeling. And I'm speaking about how everyone feels it and how I've been shown certain visions and stuff and have been thinking about this and reading this energy and getting information about it internally and processing it in my mind because it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in when you realize what's actually going to happen here on Earth. It's a lot to take in. At first, it's a lot to take in. You don't understand it. Your way of life, this way of life currently right now, it will cease to exist. The current way of life here on Earth right now, it will cease to exist. Like, that's how big what's going to happen will be. And it'll be a series of events building up. And then there's going to be a couple of big events. Like huge events that nobody would have anticipated. And that will quite potentially see the lives of millions and billions of people vanish off the face of the earth, to be honest with you. A lot of people are going to die. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I've been shown. I'm hoping that isn't the case. But after a certain point, you can't ignore it. After you see a certain level of information, you can't ignore it. Like, you just become more convinced every single day. So it's also really good. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing, but it's happening through a really bad thing, which is a really good thing, because it has to happen. It's the only variable outcome of what will take place here on Earth. I've calculated everything, processing all sorts of different outcomes. And I'm telling you now, there's only one outcome. Of course, right? But there's only one outcome to all of this. And it's a big reason why I dropped a lot of the stuff I was working on, because I started getting shown more stuff and just crazy stuff, and I just realized, well, I was like, I got it all wrong. I got it all wrong. These projects are not going to matter with what's going to happen. You know, building an application, it's not, there's going to be no phones, you know. like technology will shut down. That's what's going to happen. And I know it sounds crazy to believe, but I'm telling you what I've been shown and what I believe. Well, what you do with that information, up to you. Totally up to you. Whether you accept it, reject it, up to you. But I'm going to take time to speak about it. Anyways, for those that may want to listen, in the event that I'm correct, which I absolutely believe I am, which has been very hard to accept me being correct about this, because it's not a easy thing to be correct about. It's like you start calculating different variable outcomes and then you only see one variable outcome, and you see that it's inevitable, it's unavoidable, it cannot be stopped, it can't even be mitigated. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. It cannot be mitigated by humans. It will not be able to be mitigated and controlled by humans. It won't. It will not. And what will happen will cause people for the first time to believe to believe in more than they've ever been led to believe, because some of the stuff will be so expected, like the supernatural disasters, but on such high levels, and then obviously some like supernatural shit as well will take place, like electromagnetic, spiritual, quasi-interdimensional activity will take place, because Earth is piercing. It's so hard to explain or describe, because it's so hard to even understand how it's possible. But trust me, it is possible. It is not only possible, it's more than likely. It's highly probable. It's actually not, it's inevitable. And it's making, you can feel the buildup of it in energy, because the energy we're feeling now relates to the events that will take place in the future. Like the energy that you're moving through now will affect and it will affect the events that will take place in the future. You know, because energies are like an emotion, is like bypasses space-time. You can feel the same emotion now that you felt 10 years ago by just remembering a certain memory. So our emotions bypass space-time. Okay. Now, so emotions now and energies now, like underlying energies, are highly indicative of what will take place in the future. Highly indicative, highly indicative. Like if you can read the energetic state now, then you'll be able to, and the state as it evolves, you'll be able to see which direction that will lead in and what outcomes shall take place because of that. And some people would not like me to speak about this, for whatever reason that may be, because I think it brings a lot of people a lot of nerves speaking about a topic like this, which is understandable. I think it's a part of us, inside of us, that's like pointing us towards the truth through our nerves. But, so this is where the whole God thing comes in so importantly, because your connection to God and that guidance in your life will lead you through the next chapter of this literal reset that is going to take place. Like a literal electromagnetic and perceptual reality-based and geographic-based reset. Completely. Okay, so it's a bit, trying to contextualize, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Because you start asking a lot of questions. Well, if that happens, then what about X, Y, and Z after that happens? So it will get so, if you think life is uncertain and unpredictable now, just wait. Just wait. Because it will get far more uncertain, unpredictable, especially if you're not plugged into God. God will guide you through the crazy shit that's going to happen. And everything will fail you so much that the only last option you're going to have is to be like, well, fuck, let me just believe in God now because I've literally got nothing left to lose, literally. And shit is intense and scary and intense. And if you value your life and any sense of salvation, you're probably going to turn to God in that time. So life is going to change so much that the only option you're going to have left is to turn to God. That'll be the only option you'll have left. And what I'm saying is don't wait for all your options to get obliterated and run out before you reach that final option. Like you see, humans are like, how do you connect to God? Okay, you meditate on God and you speak to God. And when you do that, like if I have to connect to your heart now, you can feel me connecting to you. Just let's say yes in the comment section. Can you feel the energy building up in your heart space? There, you can. Just confirm that in the comment section. So when you're reaching out to God, you're using your heart, and you're getting into meditative states where you're quietening your mind, and then you're just simply, no, okay, that's negative. Okay. But have you ever felt someone's energy like being sent to your chest? Have you ever felt that? You may not be able to feel it depending on how sensitive you are or not. But imagine this. Imagine someone sending you like an energy or love or whatever. I struggle to calm my mind, okay? Imagine someone was sending you energy, right? And you felt that energy hit your chest, okay? Or imagine you sent out an energy and you feel like a connection being created when you send out that energy. And you feel it, okay? So when you meditate on God, that's what you're doing. You're directing your attention to God, and you're literally like in your heart space connecting to God. Once you connect to God, you'll feel a connection being created. And then what that will do is the light of God will just like start freaking taking your mind to like super like peaceful state of mind and energy. So what you do in order to connect to God is you keep practicing doing that. You literally keep practicing, taking time to quiet your mind, calm it down, and connect to God and speak to God about whatever the hell it is. It's your own personal relationship. You need to build that relationship with God yourself. And when you do that, you're going to feel God in your heart and presence and energy way more. And it will increase every single day. And then you'll feel as though your whole life is spiritually guided by God. Every single step, guided. Guided. Okay? And that's what you do. And as long as you can do that and access, because you see, God can see way more than you can see now. You can't see what God can see now. God can see everything all at once simultaneously. Because God doesn't have the limitations that human consciousness or our physiological brains may have. Okay? Talking about like all-knowing, super omnipresent consciousness. Okay? So God can be everywhere all at once, all at the same time. And actually, to the point where every single life here on earth is observed by God. Every single life here on earth is observed by God. That's how omnipresent God is. God is fucking omnipresent. Like anything that will happen in this void of space-time is recorded. Every detail. Every fucking detail. What you think, what you feel, what happened to your life, what you did, how those events led up to that, etc., so forth and so on. He'll know even to the detail of knowing so deep in your heart, or your true intentions and your true character, more than you know, right? Like that's how all-knowing and all-powerful and almighty and omnipresent God is. God is omniscient and everywhere all at the same time. And so everything we do gets put into a book. Everyone on this earth, in the spiritual realm, has their own book. The book of Jesse, the book of Luis, the book of whoever. Okay? This is a lot of books. And in that book, every single thing you do every day writes your book. Okay? Everything you do every day, you're writing this into a book in the spiritual realms. And God has access to all those books. Okay? Which is just a metaphor that I'm using. But it's like when I saw like libraries and books, and every human had their own book. That's what I saw. Every single human had their own book. And on that book was written your name and then everything you think and do and who you are. Nothing hidden. Which might alarm some people, but so the level of comprehension and understanding God has about every single human's life and the reasonings of the events that may take place. God is omnipresently aware of all of that simultaneously at the same time. And because of that, God has got an excessive amount of wisdom. More wisdom than any human will ever have the ability to have. Because God is omniscient, so God can see the true full scope of the reality of humans here with free will on earth and how that free will leads in multiple directions and creates certain outcomes, either harming people or helping people. And so it's very complicated. You can imagine being able to make judgment for humans is complicated business, extremely complicated. Because you need to be the most ethical and all-wise, and every judgment has to be done from the highest point of consciousness, which is the most high point of consciousness and wisdom, which no human has on earth. So no human can rightfully just judge anyone, unless they're completely, totally omniscient like God is, and completely, totally aware of every single variable that's led to certain people's behavior in order to see the truth of what's in their heart. And only after seeing the truth of what's in someone's heart and being able to see their future timeline, would you be able to see if someone was ultimately worthy of the kingdom of God or not. Because see, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven exists, but it exists in a way higher frequency than this now. So you can't see it, obviously, but it's separated by realms and frequency, right? And it's way higher, so you can feel it, I guess, to a certain level. You can meditate it and access those feelings and bring and increase your own vibration to match the vibration of the heavens. And then you get closer and closer towards those realities, right? So in order to even be in that reality, your consciousness needs to be at a certain energetic state. If it's not, it cannot exist on that spectrum. It just can't. Consciousness does not raise high enough in order to surpass that next notch or octave on the spectrum. You will simply not be able to enter the kingdom of heaven. You just won't, because your vibrational frequency cannot even match it. So how can you exist in a reality that your vibrational frequency doesn't match? So that's the reason why obviously Jesus did what he did, because he obviously knew that, and he was trying to guide people to being able to call out his name in order to ensure that that energy required, that high, blissful, heavenly energy could be granted to someone in death in order to be able to even match the vibration required to exist in the kingdom of heaven. If your vibration does not match the energy of the kingdom of heaven, you'll phase out of that realm. You'll not be able to exist in that realm. And that's why within that realm, there are no bad people. They're just really good people that are super pure-hearted people. And because they manage to purify their heart enough to match Source/Holy Spirit energy to be able to even enter the kingdom of heaven. And that's why Jesus would spend much time communicating to people on what was required in order to enter this kingdom, which he knew of. Which he spoke about, and he didn't only know of, he spoke about in great detail. As though he indicated that he was very much aware of these kingdoms and how they work and everything. Because even when asked if he had his own army or kingdom, he said it was in other realms, in the heavens. Okay? So he was aware of this. He knew this. And he knew Jesus was really fucking smart, because he knew, and obviously connected to God, and he knew he was going to die. He knew he was going to be crucified. He knew it years before he was actually crucified. And he told different people. And he told them not to tell anybody until the day would pass. And so he knew he was going to die. And he knew he had to die, because remember, Jesus came to do two things: teach and warn. That's the two things Jesus came to do: teach and warn. Right? And that's what he did. He taught and he warned people of what was to come and what's happening here today now. Those are the two things he came to do: teach, warn. So in order to place such a priority, in order to include his life's work, to spend all this time teaching people about the kingdom of heaven, and then warning people about the coming times before earth would transition into heaven on earth, and Babylon would fall forever, and then etc., so forth and so on. So he was able to see the future. Okay? And he knew that he had to die, that his purpose was to die and be resurrected. He knew he had to do that. And he knew that by doing that, that so many more people would be saved, because his message would transcend that story of a dude resurrecting after being killed and teaching all this marvelous stuff that is so far beyond anyone's comprehension at the time, and even to this present day. It was the perfect variable outcome, which is the main topic of conversation today: the existence of God and the story of Lord Jesus Christ. Just think about the variables that were required in order to get from A to B. It's like the only way to explain that is divinity. It's such a coalescence of variability and one divine lifeline/pathway. So he must have, and this is just my thinking, right? You don't have to take what I'm saying as gospel truth. This is what I've been thinking. And what I've been thinking is, if the dude came to warn people and to teach about what exists beyond this realm, the kingdom of heaven, which people didn't really actually know about in such detail that Jesus would speak about it. And the dude came here to warn, and somehow he must have been able to see the future to know that if he didn't give that message of love and compassion, because remember, there were two sides to Jesus. The one was like a loving side, and the other one was like, this is serious, full allegiance to God / warning you of end times coming side. You know, there was two sides to him. The one was the one full of love and compassion and empathy, and great wisdom surrounding those things, and seeing through the eyes and lens of quality, such divine way of thinking, such divine principles and knowledge, which people weren't really used to. Of course, they were not used to the shit he used to say back then. Not at all. So the dude knew before he was going to die that they were going to kill him. He knew. He would go around telling people, and he knew. It's well recorded. So he knew he had to die. Imagine that. Imagine, I don't know, having some awakening towards God, and then God showing you this grand picture where he's getting all this knowledge from of what's going to happen in the future, and how the kingdom of heaven works, and how God works, and energy, and all this stuff that he was teaching. And then knowing that they would come at seeing his death before it happened. And then knowing that years before it happened. Can you imagine that? I can't imagine it. I would be freaked out. Jesus is on another level. Seriously. Because imagine knowing you're going to die. And then having such great wisdom, knowing the consequences of all of that and how that would place 2,000 years into the future. I mean, that's insane. So he knew he needed to give a warning and set the record straight and teach people about this kingdom of heaven. Like, let's say Jesus did exist. Let's say the kingdom of heaven does exist, okay? Which I strongly believe it does. This dude came down, or whatever, came up, came down, because he had this awareness, in order to educate people like, yo, this shit's a reality. Like, there's life after death, and within life, there's all this magical, mystical shit. I mean, a lot of the shit he taught was magical, mystical shit. So much of his knowledge and teachings is not in the Bible, and I don't think you'd find it anywhere. Because he knew a lot more. He must have known a lot more than what was just written in the Bible. So why is this important? It's important because apparently, according to our reality on this earth, we've been born. There's a story of a dude that fucking died on a cross that was well documented. Who was a super duper spiritual dude and spoke heavily about these concepts and realities. Who tried his best in his lifetime to convince humans about the reality of heaven. Kingdom of heaven. And to teach humans how to get there. Like, think about it. If that is correct, if heaven does exist, which I absolutely believe it does. And so this dude came into an earth body, probably freaking so connected to God, experiencing all this stuff, where he's getting this insane wisdom and insight and knowledge about reality and life after death. And he must have looked around at everyone and been like, these people that literally, there's a realm that I'm aware of that these people don't even believe in. And so, being as empathetic and compassionate as he was, of course he would want to tell people about it. Like, think about it. If the reality is after you die, like you can enter a new heavenly realm, wouldn't you want to know that? And if you knew that, wouldn't you want to tell that to people? And think about how humans would live on earth here for all eternity if they literally did not believe in heaven at all. Imagine for a second if we took the concept of heaven completely out of the human psyche and knowledge and information that we have today. How different do you think earth would be? Do you think it would be more peaceful or more chaotic? So I don't know, I'd like to think to myself that Jesus must have known that and been aware of that and seen the human disposition and the human condition and the fact that there's no sense of God within the lives of people. There's just all this shit and this knowledge. And he somehow knew that by him dying, it would save a shitload of people, which it did in however way you look at it. Like people who have hit rock bottom and turned to God and their life completely turned around. You know how many testimonials there are like that? There are plenty. Okay? Where people are saying themselves that God's completely changed their life. Okay? For the better. Because if you remove heaven and God out of the equation, you remove hope out of the equation. And if your psyche does not have hope, it will fail and it will crumble and it will disintegrate and dissolve. It will. If within your belief systems and your ideology, you've got this concept and idea that, life is in a continual state of entropy and that life begins at conception and ends at death, then in your own mind, everything becomes so utterly meaningless. Like, oh, what is the point of living now and doing all this shit in this lifetime if I'm just going to die and stop existing and no longer be conscious anymore? Right? How does it make sense that a being just stops becoming conscious? So I believe Jesus knew that, and he was trying to tell people about this. Because if there's no sense of God in society and civilization, you'll never find peace, ever. Never. If the unifying spirit that creates all reality through the heart of God is not acknowledged and brought into this realm, then you will never, ever, ever get a utopian, peaceful civilization that will occur, ever. And I know a lot of people don't like the Bible. That's understandable. It's quite a scary and confusing book, to be honest with you. But it's also a book that gives a lot of hope. And throughout that entire book, everything about human consciousness is written in that book. Like, for instance, starting with Genesis and Adam and Eve, right? The human qualities of vanity and ego and this human condition of megalomaniac power acquisition was a story of Adam and Eve because they wanted to eat the apple in order to be like God. Because, like, the same way celebrities want to or have so much money and power and influence in order to be like God. The same reason why people go out of their way to not be true to themselves and create a fake personality and so forth and so on, because they want to be like God. Okay? To have his power. Which God was smart enough to be aware of. Because he created beings, but these beings that he created had free will. And with that free will could lead those beings towards wanting to outpower and outsmart their creator. And Adam and Eve is a perfect story that shows us how humans today, to this current day, think when it comes to, like, power. Having power. And it shows us the bad side of that and where that can lead. So, people wanting to be above their creator, wanting to be above the being that is ensuring reality has divine order and not complete total fucking chaos like we see every day around us, right? So we see that in people's personalities and their archetypes throughout reality all the time, in different situations, different scenarios, different levels of intensity. That's just one example. And throughout the entire Bible, it explores so many deep psychological instances within our own mind, throughout all these stories written in it, that explore things like virtues and values on a really deep level, on a level of storytelling, revealing your own fears and revealing all these different horrible and good things about reality and people and human beings and evil and good. It goes into so much detail, the entire book. Like every single emotion you can ever have, you can have by reading the Bible. Or literally, read the Bible, that thing will take you through every single emotion. Fear, this, disgust, shame, every single emotion as you read that book. Because it's all encoded, like the human archetypes and our human condition and our history and how we've come from there to here and what makes humans human and humans capable of evil or good on such a deep, rich, contextual level exists throughout the entire Bible. For that reason, it's the greatest, most mysterious, most scary book ever written. Because I'll be honest, it does get scary. So a lot of what it is I'm speaking about is eschatological. End times, whatever. So this is what I believe. I believe in my head, it's like, why would that happen? Why would this story happen and this current reality have entire religions and churches sit around telling this story that apparently happened 2,000 years ago? Like, what are the odds for a book to have been created and evolved throughout time, through such a long period of years? And so there are parts of the Bible that are freaking scary because, as I said, it's like a mirror that makes you look at your consciousness and your own behavior in so many different angles and ways. It makes you look at yourself and your life in so many different angles and different ways. And some of it's scary. Not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that. That sometimes reading the Bible is scary because of some of the shit it actually says in there. But I wonder, like, how? Because there's just something about it. It's so compelling. And it feels divine. Some of it confuses the shit out of me and I don't understand. I won't lie. But it's just the craziest book ever. Seriously, it's the craziest book ever written. There's never been a book written like it, ever. It's fucking crazy. And it's weird. There's some weird things in the Bible. Like a lot of the time, it feels like it's written in first person. The Lord and who will be able to turn away the Lord's hand and so forth and so on. So to be honest with you, it's a book that makes me wonder about a lot of things. And it's a book that has somehow directly and indirectly led me towards the spiritual pursuit of trying to experience God for myself and not just having to experience it throughout the book, because I never really used to read the Bible until recently. I've been reading it a lot to try and make sense of what the hell was happening to me and what was happening in reality. And it's the only thing I'm actually relying upon because it's the only thing that seems to be accurately predicting everything, and being able to give some level of advice or guidance in this crazy ass times right now. So because of that reason, because of the sheer level of accuracy of the events that are transpiring, as well as how to handle them and different realities that one can experience, that I have happened to experience and people can by connecting with God and accessing higher states of energy and consciousness, higher states of your spirit, I believe you can experience it for yourself, you know. It doesn't help speaking about this stuff if you don't have your own personal experience. I mean, the only thing that this can do is make people curious. You know, I'm not trying to force God down anyone's throat, but it's getting to the point where, like, everything feels so intense and shit's gotten so crazy that it's just makes you ask a lot of questions. I mean, reality is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy. To think that people, you know, just, I don't want to say it on here, it's too much of a sad story. I'll say something else. But it's so sad to see the stuff that people do on Earth. It's terrible. And I think humans have pushed it way too far. Way too far. I mean, we've got gene-altering drugs being injected into people and animals. Various chemicals released in the sky. And all sorts of other weird shit going on. And humans are pushing it way too far. And nobody believes in God, basically. But I'm telling you now, stuff's gonna get so crazy that a lot of people are gonna like suddenly find some way to try to turn to God. Because people only turn to God when their life starts fucking getting chaotic. And as I said, here on earth, things are gonna get really chaotic. And I probably sound like a crazy guy speaking about this stuff over and over again. But considering that that's what I've been feeling and seeing and interacting with every day, it's hard not to speak about it. In my mind, it's like the biggest priority right now. Our reality and what's gonna happen next. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but shit's not normal anymore. We've entered a completely new playing field. And life is not normal in the slightest anymore. And a lot of crazy shit's been happening. A lot. A lot of strange stuff as well. And as I say, like in the beginning of this video, this feeling I'm feeling that I believe everyone's feeling on one level or another just tells me something's on the way. So it's kind of hard not to speak or think about something that you're sensing every day. Sensing it every single day. And over the period of time, it's intensified. And I believe it will only continue to intensify, actually. How people cope and deal with that, that'll be up to them. I just mentioned all this stuff about God because I believe when that does happen, then people, there's a way out. There's another way. There's a better way. And I hope that people can be on the right side. The side that leads towards our safety. Because shit's gonna get pretty dangerous. I'm not gonna lie. but I would say I'm expecting a lot of natural disasters. And then with that, a lot of social instability, a lot of societal instability. And some people are going to panic. And you know, humans, when they panic, they tend to do some very crazy stuff. But I believe what will happen will be so big and devastating that humans won't really have chance or time to respond to it because of how unstoppable and inevitable it is. So, putting this video here, I'll remember this date for when things continue to transpire in the future. But yeah, I believe whatever's going to happen is going to be a complete and total game changer. Complete and total reset. Complete and total reset. And it's coming. Everyone can feel it. It's making people feel intense. People are managing and dealing with it in their own ways, in different ways. But I'm telling you, just one more time, connecting to God, really helpful. And you've got nothing to lose by trying it out at all. And everything to gain. So yeah, this is the end of this video. I'll make another one tomorrow, and maybe it won't be such a serious conversation. Thanks a lot. Love you lots. See you soon.